Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be explaining why free will is consistent with causality. The main issue that a lot of determinists have with the idea of free will is the idea that if the world is causal and if one action causes another action to happen, how can there be the ability of a consciousness to choose between two different actions if one thing causes another thing to happen, which causes another thing to happen, and there's that chain like that. So this is the basic premise by which determinists tend to reject free will. However, this comes from a misunderstanding of causality. Causality does not mean mechanism. Basically, the source of causality is the idea that A is A, everything is what it is. And because everything is what it is, it has to act according to its nature. And that's the reason why causation is a truth. Things act based on their nature, and certain causes lead to certain effects based on the nature of the causes and the thing that they're affecting. Now, let's move on to consciousness. So, the human consciousness, we can observe that it makes choices. It makes the choice, most fundamentally, to focus or not to focus. Just think about it right now. You can choose whether or not to focus on what I'm saying, or you can just completely drift and ignore it. That's the most fundamental choice. And obviously there's other choices that come from that, but at the fundamental, the free will comes from the ability to choose about whether or not to focus on certain things. This is something that you can observe. This is like a fundamental. You can't like deduce this. You can't. You just observe it. This is basic introspection, and that is the source of all knowledge, because your perception is your only window to reality. And so if you observe something, that is an absolute. You can't go back and say, oh no, because using like these rationalistic premises to say that the observed is not true. And this is the issue that determinists have. They have this false idea of causation, of causality, based on the idea of mechanism and like a domino effect. However, this is the wrong view of causation. When you look at the idea that A is A and you deduce causality from that, which is the correct view of causality, you ultimately don't reject you ultimately cannot reject free will, because everything is what it is. Your consciousness is what it is. It's in its nature is the ability to choose between different options, but the ability to focus or not. So, and since causation is only the idea that things will act according to their nature, it's completely consistent to hold the idea that causation exists while simultaneously holding the idea that humans have the ability to choose between different options, the idea of free will. So ultimately there's no dichotomy between causation and free will as long as you hold causation based on the law of identity rather than mechanism, like how mechanism basically being the idea that the universe is like a billiard ball table, like one thing causes another, which causes another, which causes another, in this chain that can't be broken by anything. This is a rationalistic premise because you can look out at the material world, and this is how material things operate. However, the consciousness, which we can observe which we can observe through introspection, we can see that free will does exist, just as a metaphysical absolute. It's not something that needs to be proven or deduced or argued against or in favor. It's simply something that we observe, and your observations cannot be wrong because they are our means of our only means of knowing reality. They're our only window to reality. So I think that's all I have to say today. Thank you guys for watching, and have a great day, and I hope to see you in the next video.